Hey guys, this is Aaron Lewis, and in today's video I'm actually just going to be talking about what you'll be needing before getting a pet bird. Now, first off, you'll be looking at buying a cage for your bird. Now, buying a cage is a very important topic that everyone always brings up in my videos. They're always asking, what cages do I buy? Now, for my parrot cage and my cockatiel cage, I have an AVIONE cage. I will have their links down in the description box below if you want to go check it out. Now, the reason why I buy AVIONE bird cages for my birds is because I like the quality they deliver and overall the look of them. They have a very, a very fancy look about them compared to like a cheap look that you'll find with most cages. And that's what you really want for your bird. You don't really want a cheap cage made out of cheap metal because you're not certain if the coating that they put on the cage is good for them. But not everyone can afford a AVIONE cage. They are quite pricey. I believe mine costs $4.69. So yes, they are quite pricey. But if you are looking for a cheaper cage, you probably could just go to your local pet shop and ask if they have a flight cage. Now, a flight cage, usually you would put a cockatiel or a budgie in it. It can probably fit around 2 cockatiels in it if you get a fairly decent sized one, and probably like 3 to 4 budgies in it. The dimensions usually begin at 21 in width and 30 in height. Now, usually flight cages are more wider because they obviously suit birds to fly back and forth across the cage, because birds don't really fly up and down. So that's why it's called a flight cage. I also do recommend buying a bird cage that comes with its own stand, because there's nothing more annoying than trying to fit your bird's cage in if it doesn't have a stand on. I used to not have stands for my cages and I'd have to find a spot on shelving to put them. But if they have their own little stand, it's easy. It comes with a stand, you can just slide it wherever you want. And usually it has a shelf down the bottom so you can keep like the covers if you cover your birds at night, or like bird food, whatever you want to keep on the shelving down below. Next, you'll obviously be looking at food bowls. Now, a lot of cages do come with food bowls already included in the cage setup. However, if your cage does come with plastic food bowls, I do recommend getting stainless steel bowls, as plastic bowls hold a lot of bacteria within the plastic, and if your birds go chewing on it, it's not very good, obviously, for their system. So I do recommend buying a stainless steel bowl if your cage does come with plastic bowls. All of my cages have stainless steel bowls, so I don't really need to worry about it, even though I do have spare stainless steel bowls available for like butt bathing or something. If it's hot in summer, I'll usually put the big round one in their cage. Obviously, you'll be needing a very large variety of toys. Every single bird needs some toys in their cage. Even if it's just a finch or a canary, they all need toys in their cage just to stimulate them when you guys aren't around. I have a big variety of toys in my birds' cages. For my son Konya, he likes a lot of foraging toys, so I have a lot of them in there, and I also have a lot of hardwood toys. Now, some toys that I would recommend getting for your birds are obviously foraging toys. Now, for your more smart birds like some conures or green-cheek conures or macaws or cockatoos, foraging toys are necessary because it does take a lot of, obviously, brain power to forage for food or whatever is inside the toys. It is a good idea to go buy them. They are, I think, well, not a lot, just a bit more pricier than just regular toys, because obviously a lot more work goes into making them. Another thing I would recommend getting for a toy is hard wood, like different grains of wood. It helps keep their beak down, like if they're chewing on it, it breaks down their beak. That's also another reason why you buy natural wood perches for your bird, or calcium perches, but we'll talk about that later. Now, I do recommend buying a swing of some sort for your bird's cage, because a swing helps them use more muscles than they would just by sitting on a cage or sitting on your shoulder. So it helps exercise them more if you have a swing in their cage. With my cockatiels, I have a swing in their cage. But with Arlo, I just have a swing on his playpen because I don't really like putting a swing in his cage, just because he likes to fly around his cage a lot. So he usually is out on his playpen a lot, so he would just usually hop on the swing there. But I do recommend buying a swing for your cage. Lastly, I would recommend buying some hard plastic toys for your bird, but you need to take caution when buying hard plastic toys, or just plastic toys in general, because if there are any bad toxins in the plastic, or anything that they've sealed the plastic with to have it shiny or something, you just want to make sure that it's good quality, because if you just buy a cheap one off of eBay or Amazon, if your bird swallows any of the plastic and it's not good quality, they could sadly pass away, and that's something that you as a bird owner do not want to wake up to one day. Now, a big topic that I've noticed of late in my comment sections on some of my videos is about what perches to use and what perches not to use. So I personally have been using rope perches since I've owned my first ever bird, which was a budgie, and that was 10 to 11 years ago, and I've had no problems with them swallowing any of the fabric that comes on the rope perches and sadly dying, but apparently a lot of my viewers have had that issue. So I do recommend taking caution if you are going to buy rope perches, but the reason why I add rope perches into their cage is because I just like the thought of them having something more comfortable to sit on rather than always having like calcium perches or concrete perches or natural wood perches. It just gives them a bit of a break. Now, on top of making sure you have a rope perch in their cage and a natural wood perch, you'll need a lot of them just to, you know, simulate their natural environment. I would also recommend getting a mineral perch. Now, it just looks something like this. It's just a round sort of thing, but it does provide extra minerals and calcium if they do decide to nibble on their perch. So I have a couple of them in all of my birds' cages. What are you doing? I also recommend getting just one concrete perch. It just helps keep down their nails a bit. And obviously if they chew on it with their beak, that's also a bonus. And it is also very important that those standard wood dowel perches that come with your bird cage when you first get them, just chuck those bad boys right in the bin, because they are not good for your bird's feet whatsoever. One thing I forgot to mention before is make sure that you always have at least 2 of the cuttlefish bones in your bird cage, because it does provide a lot of calcium for your bird when they eat it, and my birds absolutely love it. I have a big giant one in Arlo's cage, and I have at least 2 to 3 in Isla's and Chico's cage now. So that is a must have in your birds' cages. Last thing you'll be needing to think about and or get before buying a bird is obviously their diet. Birds need a huge variety of foods varying from seeds, pellets, and fruit and veggies, and even nuts, which in a lot of places around the world, pellets or just standard bird food does not come cheap. Like, it costs me to get a standard bag of pellets for Arlo and Isla or Chico just around $30 to $40, and that's just for a standard bag. The bigger bag is like $50 to $60. So when buying a bird, you really do need to think about what they're getting, because obviously fruit and veggies every week, that's probably going to cost like $20 to $40 depending on what country you live in. In Australia, fresh fruit and veg is quite pricey. So that's something I have to think about when owning a bird, and you should be thinking about it too. Just the ongoing costs that it will take to keep a bird, not just the costs that it would take for when you first buy the bird, which is probably the most priciest. But then you do have the ongoing cost, so it's good to remember that. So I would recommend going to your local pet shop or wherever you plan on buying this stuff, and just add up how much it's going to be for pellets, seed, and then go to your local produce place, whether that be Woolies, or if you live in America, I'm not certain what shops you have over there, and just price the vegetables and pellets and seed that you will be getting for your bird to see if you can keep that cost up, because just like us, our birds do need a very high nutritional diet, so you need to make sure that you can provide that for them before buying a bird. Also, once again, I forgot something to add. For my sun conure and Isla and my cockatiel, I do have like it's like a bird stand with like perches, and I put toys and stuff on it, and like has the swing and everything. I do recommend, if you're going to buy a bird, to also buy one of them, especially if you are going to spend a lot of time with your bird outside of the cage. It can sit on that while you watch TV. It can play on it while you're lying in bed. I bring my stand everywhere with me so Arlo can sit on it while I'm either on the computer behind me. It's actually just in the background right now, so I just bring it everywhere. So I do recommend getting one. They are quite pricey though. They're about $130 to $170 once again, depending on which country you live in. If you live in America, it's probably going to be a bit cheaper than that, but over here in Australia, things are quite pricey. So that is another thing I'd recommend getting. But apart from that, that is all for today's video. I do hope you enjoyed it, and if you were thinking about getting a bird, now you know what to get. Or if you already have a bird, you might want to add some more stuff in their cage, or change their bowls over to metal. So thank you everyone for watching. If this video did help you or you just enjoyed watching it, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you already haven't, and go check out my social media accounts, which are always down in that description box below. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.